Thank you. As I said earlier, the support of everyone in this room means the world to me. And the only thing throughout this entire campaign that scares me, it isn't losing, it isn't having somebody kick me out of their property or threaten me when I go door to door, which we all know happens all too often. What scares me is that I won't do a good enough job for each and every one of you in this room. So I will get up every day and I will fight for everything that we believe in. And I will do everything I can to make all of you proud. I have spent the last few months going to community meetings, sitting down with most of the people in this room, talking about issues in the city, my opinions on what we need to do, but also, more importantly, learning what everyone else thinks we need to do. Because I think one of the biggest problems we have in the city in the last few years is a lack of communication. In this time, I have many issues that are important to me, but I want to touch on just a few key issues tonight before we finish. My number one issue, something that I think is imperative in the city of Allentown and will have a lasting effect, is we need to do a better job combating the blighted properties in the city. That is ground zero for making our city more livable. Over the last few years, there has been, in an attempt to balance the budget, it's what I've been referring to as budget shenanigans. And whenever a position became vacant through retirement or someone moving on to another job, whether that position was warranted or not, whether it was needed or not, it was eliminated to try and save money and balance the budget. The net result of that is many city departments, but most specifically our code enforcement department, has been decimated. We do not have the requisite inspectors that we need to do the job. I will fight to bring back the people we need to make sure that blighted properties, to make sure that we have enough sweep officers, to make sure we have enough zoning officers, to inspect the properties, to target the problems and fix them. That is something that I will fight for. But this isn't just about finding people for jobs and filling jobs. This is also about developing new and unique and creative ideas to solve problems. So one of the things that I want to work with council and the next mayor to do is develop an early intervention program for blighted properties, for properties that are on the fence. We have a number of properties in the city that are owned by banks through foreclosures. We need to be targeting those properties and holding those banks accountable to fix those properties and keep them livable. We also need to be aware that there's a lot of senior citizens in our city who are having a hard time taking care of their property. We need to identify those properties and work to try and connect those seniors with the social programs that exist to try and help them stay in their home as long as possible and make sure those properties don't become blighted. We need to just be creative in how we look at things. So that's something that I think can have a marked effect on the city. You know, every candidate who's ever announced, every candidate who's ever run in the city of Allentown has all said that the park system in Allentown is the jewel of the city. And in a lot of ways, that has been true, but unfortunately, we've let that jewel lose some of its luster. Our parks are not in good shape. And this is a legacy that we have stretching from General Trexler to Mayor Gross to the WPA all the way to today. And it's an amazing legacy. You go to other cities, especially of our size throughout the country, and you will not find a park system like Allentown's. So we need to do a better job, not just in making sure that our park system is well maintained and our Recreation Bureau has the staff and the resources it needs to provide recreation for our students, but we also need to understand that preserving our history is of paramount importance. And we have a belief that historical preservation just means preserving buildings. It doesn't. So I'm working with someone who I've known for 20 years on something that I think is a unique solution. It's someone who I would argue is the most knowledgeable historical preservationist that we have in the area, my good friend Lauren Golden. And we are going to be looking into the possibility of seeking designation of the Allentown Park System for the National Historic Register of Places.
All right.
Lauren's right there next to Jeff, so... This is something that I think can have a marked impact on our park system and help us preserve the legacy that has been left to us and the legacy that we leave to future generations of Allentonians. You know, everything we've done downtown with the neighborhood improvement zone is fantastic. And we've had a lot of good things that have come from it. And we need to keep that momentum moving so that we realize the full promise and the full potential for all of our citizens of what the NIS has to offer. But over the last few years, we've lost our focus when it comes to the entire city and development through the whole city. So we need to recommit ourselves to economic development in the East Side on Hanover Avenue and on Union Boulevard. And I knew Mike would like that. We need to recommit ourselves to redevelopment of the South Side along South 4th Street and Lehigh Street, and yes, the West End as well. We need to stop worrying about just people who are going to bring hundreds of jobs to the city and realize that small businesses are the #1 economic driver in the United States. We need to spend just as much time and energy on a coffee shop in Old Allentown as we do on someone who wants to redevelop A Street on the East Side, and that's something that I want to fight for. But it's not just about economic development. It's also about community development. Allentown has amazing neighborhoods, and we need to do everything we can to support them. You know, I'm honored to have the support of two people who have spent their entire life supporting their neighborhood, and that's Dave and Janet Keschel from the Mountainville Crime Watch. And I have to say that the city needs to do everything humanly possible to support our existing neighborhood groups and to reactivate the dormant groups throughout the city. And this isn't just printing newsletters for them. This is the city needs to commit to having someone at each and every meeting, whether it's someone from the Community and Economic Development Department, someone from City Council, someone from the Parks Department. There needs to be someone at every community meeting throughout the city because we need to improve the communication that we have with our residents and support the rehabilitation of every neighborhood in the city. We all talk about public safety, and it's an unbelievably important factor. We're very lucky in Allentown. We have an amazing police department that does its job well and has a good relationship with the community. We need to redouble our efforts in supporting not just the police department when it comes to manpower and resources, but supporting them with every tool that we have to make sure that the relationship they have with the community is not just maintained, but improved upon. And that is something that we need to work hard on. But we can't forget the other dedicated professionals in public safety in the city, the members of our fire department, the members of our call center, and my personal experience with the members of our Emergency Medical Services Bureau. We have one of the most dedicated and committed group of public professional medical service people in the area, in the City of Allentown EMS Bureau. I had the good fortune to work with them for about 2 years, doing office work with them, and I have never worked with such an engaged and committed group of professionals. So we need to remember all of our public safety men and women, thank them, and provide whatever resources we need to make sure that they can keep all of us safe. My friends, everything I've talked about tonight is meaningless if you can't trust your government. And as we've seen over the last 2 years, we have a hard time trusting Allentown City government. We need to be open. We need to be transparent. We need to make sure that everything is done in the light of day and everything is done with the best interests of the citizens at heart. So I'm committing to several government reform ideals. I do believe that we need to institute a term limit on the mayor's office, and I will support a 2-term limit on the mayor's office. I also believe, however, that it's not just about reforming the mayor's office. So if I'm elected, I'm going to be introducing a bill to create 4 districts for Allentown City Council, so that no matter which way the political winds blow throughout the city, the East Side always has a representative, the South Side always has a representative, the West End always has a representative, and downtown always has a representative on Allentown City Council.
Great idea.
Trust in your government is the most fundamental principle of democracy. And I will do everything that I can to restore your trust in Allentown City government. And we will also do this in a fiscally responsible way. We will provide the best services at the most efficient price for each and every one of you. And also, I'm going to try and work towards making it so that you can understand the budget process easier. That we put a dashboard on the website to make sure that you're seeing how your tax dollars are spent, that you're getting information with your tax bills, and that each and every one of you can find out anything that you need to find out without having to go through a myriad of right-to-know requests and confusing documents. That's something that will go a long way towards restoring faith and confidence in the government of Allentown. My friends, I just want to say again, thank you all for being here. And I appreciate every one of you being here, but I have to ask for more. Because as you all know, in politics, all we do is ask for things. So What I'm asking of each of you is, if you can please donate some time to knock on doors, to make phone calls, talk to your neighbors, talk to your relatives. Even if you don't live in the city, you all know people who live in the city. Please talk to them about this campaign. Talk to them about what I want to try and accomplish for Allentown, what we all want to try and accomplish for Allentown. So if you can donate some time. Also, this is going to be a very crowded race. There's probably about 15 people running for city council. So it's going to require a lot of resources. So I would ask each and every one of you that can make a financial contribution to please do that. But if you can't do that, please donate some time. Please talk to some people. So I have made only one promise for the last 6 months as I've been talking to each of you and campaigning. And it's the only promise that I'm going to continue to make through this campaign. And that is, I will always be open and accessible to anyone in the city to have a conversation, to sit down, to discuss issues. We may not agree on it, but I will always go into the discussion with an open mind and willingness to hear and to listen. That's the only promise that any candidate or elected official should ever make to the voters, and it's the only promise you will ever hear from me. So thank you all for being here, and on to the primary.